Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope that you're all well and having a really great day so far. Today's video is a 5 looks using the Natasha Denona Purple Blue £28 palette. This is not a new palette, but it is a new palette to me, and I managed to pick this up at a 20% discount from Look Fantastic. I wanted to see what all of the fuss was about. You know, does the quality of the shadows justify the high price tag, and just generally have a play around with eyeshadow. Maybe if you have this palette in your collection, it might also inspire you to give it a revisit. So if you'd like to see how I put this look together along with 4 others, then grab yourself a drink, subscribe if you haven't already, and keep on watching. And starting with the shade Nina's Orchid on this Zoeva Petite Crease brush. And I'm just blending that into the crease. And I'm bringing that in to either side of the eye, just blending it inwards to create a halo. And taking a clean fluffy brush just to blend out the edge. So there's a nice wash of purple all over the eyelid. I'm also going to run the same shade onto the lower lash line. Next I'm taking the shade Maroon and I'm placing that on the outer corner and also the inner corner. And just blending the edge into that first transition shade that we put down. And I'm going to mirror that on the lower lash line, just in the outer third and also the inner third. I'm then taking the shade Calypso Blue and I'm applying that to the centre of the lid. And this is a gorgeous duochrome. And it's got a beautiful purple to blue shift. And I'm just layering that onto the centre of the lid using my finger. I think this is a nice way to apply these metallic shadows. And also to the very centre of the lower lash line. I'm then taking a very small amount of the shade Aubergine, which is a dark purple aubergine matte, just to intensify the outer and inner corners. And I'm also going to link that with the excess that's on my brush. I'm also going to take that across the top just to join the two sides together. And that is look number 1. For look number 2, I'm starting with the shade Satin Skin, and I'm just going to sweep that all over the eyelid using this fluffy brush. Then I'm taking the shade Deep Slate Grey and just applying that to the outer corner and blending it up into the crease. I'm also taking that shade down onto the lower lash line using a pencil brush, just to add a bit of smokiness there. I'm then dipping into the shade Smoke and I'm taking that into the very outer corner. And also the outer third of the lower lash line as well. I'm back in with a clean blending brush just to buff all of that together. And I'm taking the shade Chromatic into the inner corner just to highlight that. I'm going to jump off camera to apply liner, mascara and lashes, and then we'll be back to see the finished looks number 1 and 2. So these are the finished looks for looks numbers 1 and 2, and I really like both of them. Look number 1 is a beautiful purple halo eye with a duochrome colour on the lid, and I think that adds a lot of interest to the look. I think that it would be really nice to wear on a night out or maybe to New Year's Eve. Look number 2 is a lot more neutral, and I think that this is sort of the type of makeup that I would wear maybe out to dinner. I really like this pop of silver here on the inner corner. I think that it adds a bit of something. But I am going to jump off camera, take my makeup off, and we'll be back to start looks number 3 and 4. For look number 3, I'm starting with the shade Cateo and I'm just blending that through the crease using this fluffy brush from Morphe. I'm also running that shade onto the lower lash line just with this Charlotte Tilbury smudge brush. And again, blending that out with a clean fluffy brush to get rid of any harsh lines. I'm then taking the shade Smoke right into the outer corner of the eye and also blending it on the lower lash line. And actually blending those two shades together has created a really nice teal shade. I'm then taking the shade Metallic Steel Blue and I'm pressing that onto the lid. And I'm going in with the shade Chromatic just to highlight the very inner corner. And I'm also going to press some of that silver onto the lid. For look number 4, I'm starting with the shade Lavender Grey and I'm just sweeping that all over the lid. And this is a neutral shade with a very subtle purple undertone to it. It's very pretty. And also running that same shade across the lower lash line. I'm then going in with the shade Smoky Plum onto the outer corner. And I'm also running that along the lower lash line, probably about halfway across. I'm then taking the shade Rosewood and I'm applying that to the centre of the lid. And just blending out the edges again with a clean brush. I do want to deepen up the outer corner, so I'm just taking some of the shade Aubergine and placing that into the outer corner of the eye. And then go back in with a blending brush just to blend that out. That's the eyeshadow for looks 3 and 4 now finished, so I'm going to jump off camera, apply liner, mascara and lashes, and I'll be right back. I'm back with liner, mascara and lashes now applied, and I do really like how both of these looks have turned out. Look number 3 especially is very much outside of my comfort zone, but I'm so pleased that buying this palette has forced me, you know, to try out these types of shades. I'm really pleased with how the finished looks come together. I think it's really pretty. And again, look number 4 is probably something that I would wear day to day. Really like that gold reflect in this shade here near to the inner corner. And I think that the plum shade in the crease and the outer corner really picks up the green reflect in my eyes. I think if you have hazel or green eyes, then this type of eye look would look really pretty on you. So those were looks 3 and 4, and I'll be back with you shortly to start look number 5. Starting with the shade Golden Beige, I'm just blending that through the crease using this Spectrum B06 brush. And I'm taking that slightly higher towards the brow bone. I'm then taking the shade Oxide onto this Morphe M506 brush and I'm blending that into the crease. And I've also just taken that same Oxide shade down onto the lower lash line using this pencil brush and just joined it up with the eyeshadow on the top. And I want to keep this Oxide shade very strong towards the top of the crease. And I'm going back in with the original brush just to slightly blend out that edge, just to soften the point. I'm then taking the shade Petroleum Blue and I'm just applying that straight to the lid using my finger. And this is a really vibrant blue shade. And I'm just neatening up the edges using this Zoeva shader brush. And I've not wet the brush or anything, this is just how the shadows are performing dry. Really impressed. I'm then taking the shade Glaze and applying that to the inner corner of the eye. And this is the finished look for look number 5. I've just jumped off camera, applied liner, mascara and lashes, and I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. I really love the contrast between that coppery shade and the blue. I think that's adding a lot of interest to the look, but I've really enjoyed using this palette today. So guys, those were my 5 looks using the Natasha Denona Purple Blue palette. I think that I liked looks 3 and 4 the best, but please let me know your favourite in the comments below. I'm always interested in what you guys think. The quality of these eyeshadows are lovely. I've not tried one in here that doesn't perform well or that I don't like. There's 5 formulas in the palette altogether, but all of them apply to the eye beautifully and blend out like an absolute dream. So all in all, the quality of this palette is just as you would expect from Natasha Denona. For you to get the most out of this palette, I think you need to be 100% on board with the colour story and be honest with yourself. If you're a neutral person at heart and you don't really deviate too much from neutral tones, then how often are you really going to reach for blue or purple shadows? If the answer's not very often, then this is a very expensive palette just for occasional use, and I'd probably give it a miss in that case. But if you do enjoy these beautiful colours, then I would absolutely recommend it. I think you would enjoy using the palette as long as you're okay with paying this sort of price. This palette retails for £205, which is astronomically expensive for an eyeshadow palette. I did get mine at a 20% discount, which brought it down to £164, but even so, this is by far the most expensive product in my makeup collection. I don't want to discourage people from buying it because it is a really lovely palette. As I said, the shadows perform beautifully and it's a really gorgeous colour story. But if this is outside your budget, you know, you're getting that sort of sick feeling in your stomach, feeling a bit guilty about it, then absolutely don't get it. You're not going to be missing out too much. There are really great quality shadows for a fraction of the price on the market now, so you can definitely live without this palette. But if it is in your budget and you do like the colour story, then as I said, there's no reason not to go for it. If you're still going ahead and wanting to pull the trigger on this palette, then I absolutely would not pay full price for it. It's not a brand new palette, there's no urgency to get it, so just bide your time for it to go on sale. 20% discount is a big saving, it's £40 off the palette, so maybe buy on Black Friday or if there's a sale throughout the year, but definitely wait for a sale to be on because it's a big saving, as I've said. I know some of you will be wondering whether I think the palette is worth the money, and quite honestly that's a very difficult question for me to answer. I think it depends on the type of makeup user you are. If you've got a big beauty budget, you like experimenting with different formulas, different colours, then somebody like that would get a lot of enjoyment from this palette. But equally, I can understand that for a lot of people, spending this sort of money on a palette, they wouldn't even entertain it. And if I didn't have a YouTube channel, would I have bought this palette? I'm not sure that I would, to be honest. I think that my comfort level is maybe around £50–60 for a palette. I might occasionally go over £100 for something really special like a Pat McGrath Mothership palette or the odd large Natasha Denona palette, but generally speaking I don't spend that much money on eyeshadows. So it very much depends on your personal circumstances, what your priorities are. We're all different at the end of the day. I would just say just do what feels right to you. So guys, that's everything for today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please let me know by giving the video a thumbs up. It really helps out my channel and it also lets me know the type of content that you guys enjoy watching. But if you do want to see more videos from me, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell because I would love to have you back. Thank you so much for watching guys, and I'll see you on my next one. Enjoy the rest of your day.